Good evening, everybody, and welcome to What's Up, Cuz. I'm your host, Jason Palmer, and usually I'm with my crazy cousin, the coach himself, Lancey Irvin, but he called in sick today, folks. Yes, he used one of his sick days. I don't know if it was one of his mental wellness days or what he's got going on, but there's no Lance Irvin today. He is at home sick, so I wish my cousin good health, and I hope he gets well soon. I'm sure he will be back. He felt really bummed and wanted to come on the show. I told him, absolutely not. I am treating you like the White Sox are treating their players because I need you for the playoffs, Lance Irvin. So I can do a show without you. So Lance is at home resting, I hope, and taking medicine, and hopefully Paula is taking real good care of him. Now, if y'all see him out somewhere, then y'all call me, because then I mean he lied. You know how people be lying, talking about I'm sick, and then they be at the basketball game or something, and they get busted on TV and end up getting fired. So if you see Lance Irvin out and about this evening, somebody hit me up and let me know that dude ain't really sick, but he is sick and at home today. So we wish my cousin goodwill. For those of you who are joining us, welcome to What's Up, Cuz. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, that's Sports Zone Chicago YouTube channel, please go ahead and subscribe to that channel and like our show. We have plenty of shows on the Sports Zone Chicago network. Lots of entertainment we give you, a lot of good information we give you about the world of sports. Also, if you're watching us on the Sports Zone Chicago app, we really appreciate it if you are watching us on the app. And would love for you to download our app. I know it's a lot of stuff you're trying to download on your phone. How much memory do you have? We're worth it. Just delete one of them other apps that you ain't really using no way and put our app on there, the Sports Zone Chicago app. Remember, you can get it at the iTunes store. You can get it at the Google Play Store. And you can also get it at the Amazon store. So make sure you download that Sports Zone Chicago app for access to all of our shows here on the network. So especially since Lance is not here tonight, I will be accepting a whole lot of comments and questions from all of you all who are out there. I know a lot of y'all got a lot to say, so just go ahead and say it, and I will definitely be posting your comments up. I see my guy Bernard is tuning in. Bernard already has some suspicions about Lance. He said, "What up, Jay?" He pulled a Kyrie. So, yeah, I'm telling you, if he pulled a Kyrie Irvin on me, I don't know what to do. And then our guy Vernon Fairley working hard today, doing Sean and Maya in the morning, and now this Sports Zone Chicago bread must be nice. Hey, man, tell him to give me a raise, Vernon. I appreciate it. So, yeah, we and I would love a raise. So, yeah, but Lance, he's going to be out tonight, but he'll be back next week. But tonight's show, we got a really good show for you. Bulls training camp getting ready to start. I mean, it's popped up right around the corner. Bulls training camp getting ready to start. We've got Casey Johnson coming on the show tonight. My man Casey is coming on, former Chicago Tribune reporter. Now he hosts his own podcast with Kendall Gill and Will Perdue, who you also see on NBC Sports. But Casey is going to come on our show tonight at 7, and he's going to talk all Bulls from 7 to 7:30. We're going to get a lot of talk because we got a lot of questions about this Bulls team. There's a lot of excitement surrounding this team, but there's still a lot of question marks. And KC, he's a Bulls insider for real. He knows what's going on. So we're going to get KC. He's coming on. And then at 6:30, we've got from the Under Center football podcast that he does with our good friend Kenneth Davis and Adam Hodge. We got Alex Shapiro coming on. Alex is coming on tonight at 6:30, and he's going to talk Bears with us. The Bears pulled out a win yesterday against the Cincinnati Bengals. They win the game by 3. So we're going to talk a lot of Bears with them at 6:30. I know a lot of you got comments on the Bears, and we're going to talk about the Justin Fields thing. The Andy Dalton injury turns out that it's not as serious as it could have been, so we're thankful for that. So a lot to talk about on tonight's show. We got 2 great guests coming on, so just stay tuned there. I currently have the White Sox game on my other screen. For those of you who have not heard, the Cleveland Indians lost the first game of a doubleheader earlier today in Kansas City. So the White Sox magic number is actually now down to 3. It's now down to 3. There's no score in the game against Detroit right now, but if they win that game, it'll go down to 2. And if Kansas City pulls a miracle and sweeps the Indians, it'll be 1. by the end of the night, and the White Sox could clinch their division tomorrow night in Detroit. So I'm keeping an eye on that. Lots of stuff going on in the world of sports. We got college football going on. We got NFL going on. You got Blackhawks training camp starts Thursday. They're going to be back on ice Thursday. Their first preseason game is in 9 days. So we've got all the sports getting ready to come together. That's why I love the month of October, why my wife hates it, because every sport is playing. College football, pro football, the NBA is going, college basketball is starting up, hockey is going, baseball's in the playoffs. So there's a lot going on coming up in the next couple of weeks. And what's up, cuz? We're going to be here to talk you all through it and talk about it. But hey, I couldn't be remiss without our super producer, Irvin Vargas, who's working behind the scenes. Ivan's going to jump on a little bit with me in this first segment as we talk about some of today's trending topics. He's been a working man. That dude be working too, because he's hosting a whole bunch of football shows. I know he's prepping for tonight's Monday night game. So let's bring him on. Ivan, jump on for a minute. Say hi to the people.
Yo, what's up, peoples? No, yeah, I was telling Luke because I went to go get milk for my daughter, and I was just like, all right, I'm in the store, and then I'm like, oh my god, I got 5 minutes. I ran through the store to the counter. Thank God nobody was in line, and I was in this full sweat when I showed up. I pressed go, and then Luke wasn't on, and I was like trying to talk, out of my behind, for lack of better terms. But I got there, we got it done. It should be a good one tonight. I'm looking forward to a closer game than people think.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Detroit and Green Bay. And for those of you who don't know, I do live up here in Southeast Wisconsin. And, so my neighbors were joking yesterday. Like, well, the Bears won in first place. I was like, yeah, until tomorrow. But so, yeah, we'll see. I don't. You actually think Detroit's going to give Green Bay a game tonight?
I think it'll be a game to the fourth quarter. I feel like Green Bay will be sluggish for that. The first two. They'll start to pick up some tempo. I think there'll be a big play, some type of sudden change in the third quarter where Detroit becomes Detroit for for a quarter, and then you see Green Bay kind of pull away in the fourth.
Interesting, because Green Bay really they really embarrassed themselves in the first week. New Orleans throttled them pretty good, so I think they got to come out with something to prove because their fan base is. They're pretty rabid, like a lot of these fan bases. So it's going to be very interesting to see kind of what they do tonight. But that's the Monday night game, Detroit and Green Bay. And do you have a podcast tonight for that coming on?
Oh yeah, no, we just did it at 5:30. It was at 5:45. Like I said, I had everything got deleted, and I had to go back and reset it. But yeah, we'll be up again at halftime, and then again at the post.
Got you. So Ivan's got stuff coming up. So everybody tune into that game later on tonight. That's a NFC North game, and it's going to have implications for our Bears. So, hey, let's get to some of these topics that we have to start today's show. I got a lot of stuff to talk about. There was a lot of stuff that happened kind of over the weekend. I'm going to start with some other news. I'm going to start actually with ESPN news. A lot of us watch ESPN, the network. We got to. They got the contract damn near for anything. But ESPN today announced that Malika Andrews will be the host of their show, The Jump. For those of you who are not caught up in all the soap opera drama that happened at ESPN, Rachel Nichols, who was the host of the show, made some disparaging comments that were caught on a hot mic about Maria Taylor, about her not being able to come in and host the NBA Finals sideline report or the pregame show or the postgame show. They wanted to put Maria in some of that roles. Rachel Nichols was like, no, it's in my contract, and basically made the statement saying, the only reason y'all promote Maria Taylor is because she's a woman of color and your diversity record is terrible. So that blew up into a whole big thing. Obviously, Maria wasn't happy about it. A lot of people at ESPN were not happy about the comments. And Rachel Nichols apologized publicly for making the comments. She also said she tried to reach out to Maria Taylor personally to offer her apologies. And Maria Taylor would not take her phone calls, text messages, emails. She couldn't even beep her. The woman wouldn't even respond to the pages. So you could definitely tell there was some bad blood there. And it's just been kind of devolving ever since. Maria Taylor has since left the network, signed herself to a multi-million deal with a whole nother company. I ain't mad at you, sister. And Malika Andrews, who is only 26 years old and has been really rising up through the ranks at ESPN, they said, nope, we're going to put you in that role. And so we're looking forward to seeing her hosting The Jump. She's been a sideline reporter, and she's getting a huge opportunity to host a major show on ESPN. So congratulations to Malika Andrews. I look forward to watching her on The Jump this coming season. Other news, let's talk about your Chicago Cubs, Ivan. One game away from officially being eliminated from the wild card chase. I mean, we knew that wasn't June, but
you know, Jason, if they would have just traded everybody off the jump, maybe they would have made a run towards this wild card. Because I found this Cubs team post trade to be way more exciting than the Cubs team that we had prior to the trade. It called me crazy, but I feel like the Cubs will will take a shot at some guys in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
I think the guys that you have, a majority of these guys, not majority, but like the main guys, I think you keep a majority of them around. Like these guys look like they have fun together, look like they play well together. It is a bad losing year, but I like these guys. I really do. I think they play baseball. They play baseball the right way. They play it fun. They look like they're having a blast. It doesn't look like any moment's too big for any of those guys. It just looks good to me.
Well, you know, one of the things that Hawk Harrelson had actually said in some of his final years as the White Sox were starting that whole rebuilding phase, he said one of the things he enjoyed more was watching young players who were very excited to play the game as opposed to veterans who were just there fulfilling their contractual duties. And I think there was a lot of that going on with the Cubs because when you think about it, most of the talk this season was, well, who are they going to sign? Who are they going to re-sign? Or who are they going to trade at the deadline? That was like an opening day. They were talking like, well, who are we going to trade? What's going to happen? And I think that became so much of the focus of the Cubs 2021 season this year of who's going to be here, who's not going to be here, instead of let's just play baseball and everything else will take care of itself. They didn't seem to ever really take on that mentality except for like that 1, 2, or 3 week stretch when they dug out of last place and got themselves in the first place, but then they couldn't sustain it. And they started, doing the same things that they had been doing. Javi Baez started swinging at everything again. You just had a really bad baseball team. And I agree with you, Ivan. They just weren't fun to watch. They just weren't fun anymore.
It looked like they had a problem not a problem with each other. It just looked like, to me, from the outside looking in, it looked like their outside lives were kind of messing with the vibe in the clubhouse. And I'm talking about, with all three of the big names plus Willie. I feel like I felt like at that time everybody was, and rightfully so, kind of looking out for themselves because you have to in these situations. It's your contract, it's your career.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like that definitely brought some type of separation, some fracture in that clubhouse.
Yeah, I definitely do too. And, it was time though, and you and other Cubs fans I've spoken to, they all said, hey, it was time to tear this thing down. And you all were saying that based off of their last couple of years in the playoff performances, it was like, okay, we're in the playoffs and now we're not in the playoffs. They really didn't do anything once they got there, and they were getting ready to become stuck in that place where you don't want to be stuck in, where you're not good enough to compete for a championship and you're not just completely horrible to call for a rebuild. So management took it upon themselves to just make them that terrible so that now you can focus on the rebuild. You can get some higher draft picks, because a lot of people don't know baseball is the one sport. And I didn't even realize this until a few years ago. Baseball is the one sport where you can't trade draft picks. So it's not like you can say, well, we'll give you our number 1 or our number 2, and you can't do that in baseball. You're not allowed to trade draft picks.
Yeah, they've talked about, and I'm sure you've heard of, they mentioned murmurs of maybe we need to go ahead and open that up, because I feel like you're not getting a guarantee. You know what I mean? It's not a guarantee. So if a guy wants to take a gamble on giving me a player that I want that's not a guarantee, like a lower end, like a minor league type of player for a draft pick, come here because you got something on that player. You don't know what you have, but college stats or high school stats or Dominican League stats from said other player. So I feel like the unknown is kind of even. I feel like the advantage, there's no type of disadvantage in my eyes. So I feel like that should open up soon.
Well, and the thing about baseball players too, I mean, you drafted. We've seen how many first-round draft picks have we seen that washed out anyway? I mean, the White Sox, they got Zach Collins in the first round, and he's not even your starting catcher. May not even be on the playoff roster. And how many chances he got? Carson Fulmer, for the love of God, was horrible. He was their first-round draft pick, and that guy was terrible. He couldn't even make the major leagues and stay there. So I do think with baseball, it's a lot more. It's all over the place. You can get a guy drafted in the 6th round. He ended up being a Hall of Famer. So,
and I put it to look what the Cubs did. Bryant, Schwarber, Almora. I point to Almora and not necessarily Schwarber as much because I feel like Schwarber is going to turn into one hell of a DH later in his career. Almora, you were looking for your starting future center fielder with a decent bat that could hit for some average, get on base, be smart, and just play great defense in the outfield. I'm not asking him to hit 350 and lead the league in something. I'm just asking you to be the most consistent guy on the team, and that was nowhere to be found. He was the most consistent guy. He was the most consistent guy hitting into the hole over there on the left side. He was consistent on that. He was definitely consistent on that. But as far as getting a for sure guarantee, Albert Almora is just a story of caution.
Yeah, without a doubt. Next topic, I'll go and talk a little bit about my White Sox. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, they are currently playing Detroit. It is 0-0 here in the bottom of the 2nd inning with Carlos Rodon on the mound for the White Sox. The White Sox took 2 of 3 from the Texas Rangers this past weekend. And it's funny because they're doing it with kind of like, Tony La Russa's playing around with the lineup and still trying to get guys rest. And some people are playing every day. So he's kind of got this mix mash kind of lineup thing going on. But Lucas Giolito pitched well yesterday to get the win. Michael Kopech came in back-to-back games and pitched well as well yesterday. So they went down there. They handled business in Texas. They'll be in Detroit for the next 3 days. And then they head to Cleveland for a 5-game series because they have a rain day makeup game that they're playing, I believe, on Thursday. So White Sox are coming to the home stretch, getting ready to wrap this thing up. They'll be popping bottles of champagne, popping them bottles when they win this division, probably in the next 48 to 72 hours. You can expect that. And it looks like right now they're going to be playing the Houston Astros in the first round of the playoffs, which could be one hell of a series. I'm confident the White Sox can beat Houston. I'm confident they can beat anybody in the American League. Also realize they can lose anybody in the American League. I think it's really the parity this year in baseball all around has been very good. You're seeing the wild card races are all coming down to the wire in both leagues, but especially in the American League, it's like 5 teams still fighting, trying to get some playoff, get some playoff experience for their players like Seattle. They haven't been to the playoffs in like 20 years, so they're still fighting, trying to get there. Oakland is trying to get there. As we talk right now, Toronto and Boston have the 2 wild card spots, but the Yankees only like a game out. So all this stuff is coming down to the wire in the American League. In the National League, it looks like the Dodgers and the Cardinals right now are going to be the wild card representatives, which I think is hilarious. And it's hilarious because I have a picture that I need to post, because the one team that we were all expecting this year to perhaps make the playoffs and do something big in the National League was the San Diego Padres. And currently this is what the Padres look like. The Padres, their 2 biggest stars, which is Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis, got into a heated argument the other day in the dugout, which almost came to blows in the dugout. They had to be physically separated. After they were separated, Machado could basically be heard telling Tatis, we already know you're the best player in the league. You ain't got to prove it to us. So what are you doing out there? We need you in the game, because Tatis was arguing about a call and almost got kicked out of the game. And Machado was trying to tell him, look, man, we need you in the game if we're going to win. So they've got all sorts of chaos going on in San Diego. We were all expecting them to compete for that NL West division, and then San Francisco just came and beat up on everybody. And yeah, you're right, Bernie Machado. He just out there screaming at everybody. You know,
and you know, Jason, I'm Machado's side. I was like, you know what, Manny, you've done some dumb shit. You know, I'm sorry. You've done some dumb stuff in your time, and this one, you're 100% correct. Like, you are the best player in the game. We know you're the best player in the game. You don't have to prove it to us or anybody out there right now, but you need to play baseball with us, because we're not in a position that we want to be in. You're not leading the division. You're not solidified in any type of wild card position. You are in the outside looking in, and you need your best players on the field.
The thing I thought that was funny about it, so Tatis was a member of the White Sox, and we traded him. Okay, we traded him when he was one of those young prospects. We traded to get somebody. And then Manny Machado, who we went after hard in free agency, and it came down to San Diego and the White Sox. And he chose to go out to San Diego. Okay, so now as a White Sox fan, I'm looking at it like, that's what y'all asses get. That's what you get. You could have been here with us going to the playoffs, but now you're out there arguing with each other. So enjoy the San Diego weather. That's what you wanted. You wanted to be out there all the weather, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. And I remember saying on Sean and Maya when it happened, I said, look, I thought Manny Machado just used the White Sox to drive up the price so that he could get his money. I don't think he ever really wanted to come here. He wanted to go to San Diego the whole time. So, you know, he kind of played us, but the White Sox they were offering like $30 million a year. So we can't call him cheap. The White Sox put a great offer out there. He just wanted to be out there in San Diego. Okay, cool. Now, Tatis, not his fault. We traded him, you know. But, you know, now to see them two out there arguing and fighting and they ain't in the playoffs and seeing where the White Sox are, I'm just cracking up laughing.
I wouldn't blame you. Honestly, I don't even. It was funny when you said it, because I totally forgot that he was. I guess he was courting the Sox, or they were trying to court him in a sense. But man, I agree with Machado, but you're right. It's not a good light, especially with a young team with two young superstars. I mean, Machado, he is the veteran in this situation. He's young too. You know, he has a lot to prove himself as a Major League Baseball player, as far as, you know, where he stands in his career. But he wasn't wrong in this situation. But it's for San Diego, for all the hype, you haven't showed up. You haven't shown up. Machado could, and he has been hurt. I give him the credit. He has been hurt. You just can't make excuses when you're in a playoff race. And I'm sure part of it is him growing as a player. But you have to, I'm glad Machado nipped it in the bud right there, because we as a team are in a race, and you are our biggest bet.
Right. So they're out there arguing and fighting in San Diego. So have fun with that. And then my final hot topic I need to talk about, this one kind of just came across the wire a little bit earlier today, is, oh my God, wait a minute. We have breaking news, I think, Ivan. What in the world is going on? Is this a Willis Reed impersonation? Is that who I think it is? No, it can't be. I must be seeing things. Is it? Oh my God.
I said, you know what? I was laying there listening to the show. I said, you know what, Paula, bring me some cough medicine. Bring me some extra. Because I said, Cousin Jason is about to cut a fool by herself. I said, I have 10 cough drops in my mouth, all because I can't trust you not to act a fool tonight. Unbelievable.
What you do? You went drink some Robitussin or something?
I got 5 cough drops in my mouth, literally. My back hurt. I said, Ivan, come on the screen, Ivan. I said, Ivan, please pop on the screen. I said, If I let this man do the show by himself, we won't have a show.
This is like
started.
Michael coming in with that flu. This is the flu show for Lance. This is prime Lance.
I can tell how that man was getting started.
Oh God, ladies and gentlemen, Lance
I can't trust you. I can't trust you.
Pulled himself out of sick bay.
I can't trust you.
He has made an executive decision apparently. He got tired, looked like he's sweating. He probably got a fever of 104.
I'm just waiting for Scotty to come carry you off.
I'm gonna make it through the show that I'm going back to bed, but I can't trust you. Tell Sharice if I could trust you, I would have stayed out the way.
Yeah, man, drink some water, man. You have something on water.
I'm on like 30 bottles of water, but that's all right though. What's up, cuz?
Oh man, you man. I was just getting ready to talk about our final topic before I brought on Alex after our commercial break.
What's our final topic?
Our final topic today: Usain Bolt, perhaps arguably the greatest track and field male athlete of all time. Usain Bolt came out with a statement regarding Sha'Carri Richardson. And basically, to sum it up, he said she needs to talk less and train more. He said when Sha'Carri came out and started talking all that jive before she was going to race the Jamaican women, that all that did was fire up the Jamaican women, make them say, we definitely going to embarrass her now and beat her. And that was the race where she came out and finished in last place right after that, right? And the Jamaicans were kind of giving her the side eye during her little interview. But that was what that was all about. So Usain Bolt said, he was like, I think the young lady's talented, but she ain't working hard enough. You running with the most elite runners in the world. You got to actually train if you're going to win. And whatever you do, stop talking.
So, Jay, let me ask you this. If you could bag your talk up, what's wrong with talking a little bit? Maybe she needs that to fuel her fire. I don't know, but all I know is this. Like I used to tell your cousin Nick. Your cousin Nick was real good.
Yeah, Nick liked talking.
So Nick used to be, okay, I'm going to bag my talk up. Old Michael Jordan was great at talking stuff.
Yes, he was.
MJ talk stuff to you playing softball. What you mean? Get a hit? Hit a homer, you mean, right? He literally stopped the softball game, Jay, and told his daughter, Daddy, get a hit. No. Daddy hit a homer. So some people can talk stuff. But now, I don't know if she could talk stuff or not when she's running, but all I know is this. She's been talking a lot of stuff, and as of late, she hasn't been producing well enough where she could talk stuff. So I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying she's wrong. But all I know is this. When you playing the elite, running against the elite, tackling the elite, sometimes they get fired up too with this little conversation. So if you're not going to bring it, in the words of Jason Palmer last week, or no, you told me one time, no, Corey Irvin, y'all just got to shut the hell up and coach.
That's right.
Shut the hell up and run.
Certain times you got to just shut up in life and do what you're supposed to do. So that was you saying Bolt's advice to Sha'Carri, just shut up and train. So I like, okay, I can roll with that. And that's funny because, talking stuff, we're going to talk about that with Alex because I got a problem with the NFL and some of these penalties that they now call it. So I'm going to talk with Alex about that. But we're going to take a commercial break. Lance has joined us. He is pulling a Willis Reed. He pulled himself out of sick bay. He's out here. I don't know how effective he's going to be on this show, but drink you some water. Keep drinking that Robitussin and all the other stuff you drinking. We're going to take a commercial break, and we're coming right back with Alex Shapiro of NBC Sports Under the Center podcast. You're watching What's Up, Cuz.
You're a champion, Lance. You're a champion.
Let's get back to normal. How do we do that? Wear masks, wash your hands, stand 6 feet apart, get tested, and most important, roll up your sleeve and get the shot.
Get the shot. Get the shot.
Get the shot.
I got the shot. I got the shot.
I got the shot.
I got the shot.
I got the shot.
I got the shot, and so should you.
You see me.
You hear me.
Respect me.
Respect. Due regard for the feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others.
We don't have to agree, but I deserve to be heard. I stand my ground. Respect me.
We don't have to be friends, but I deserve your civility. I stand my ground. Respect me.
You don't have to understand my culture, but I deserve to be authentically myself. I stand my ground. Respect me.
I stand in defiance of your need to make me less in order for you to feel adequate.
I stand.
I stand aware that the America that you see and love today is a result of my free labor.
I stand.
I stand knowing that the contempt you have for me was not instigated by me, but perpetuated by the fear you have of me.
I stand.
I stand surviving your many attempts to emasculate me. Indeed, I thrive despite it.
I stand realizing that you take many things from me, but I will not allow you to take my respect.
I am a man.
I am a proud man.
I am a proud black man.
I am authentically, undisputedly, unapologetically a proud black man.
I am authentic, undisputedly, unapologetically a proud black man.
I am authentically, undisputably, unapologetically a proud black man.
Respect me.
I have done more than enough to deserve it, and still you withhold it.
The bill is past due.
You owe me.
Respect me.
Respect me.
Respect me.
Welcome back, everybody, to What's Up, Cuz. I'm your host, Jason Palmer, along with my cousin, the coach himself, Lance C. Irvin. As we come back on, the White Sox have just taken a 2-0 lead over the Detroit Tigers in Detroit. Yasmani Grandal with a sacrifice fly. Sox leading 2-0 in the top of the third inning. Remember, their magic number has gone down to 3 as Kansas City beat Cleveland earlier today. So we'll kind of keep you forward, keep you up to date on what's going on there going forward. But the White Sox right now with a 2-0 lead in Detroit. Well, cuz, I mean, you was out sick. So, you know, you ain't got no show script. So we just gonna have to.
Jay, I'm what you call a professional. I know how to get in where I fit in. That's why I coach. You have to make adjustments.
Well, you know, I can't just let you come in and play. We put you on the injured reserve list. You ain't supposed to be in the game. Now you done came in. I need you to tilt your head forward here. Tilt your head forward. I got to make sure you all right here. You know, you ain't got no corona. Let me see. It say.
I went to the doctor
Man, this thing malfunction. They got you at 85.7. That means you dead.
Hey Jay, when you go to the doctor, they get you in and fast. They get you in and out. COVID? No, he doesn't have COVID. Move on. Okay, get out. You're fine. I was like, dang.
Hey, like this man just sick. Go home, take some Robitussin and some vitamin C.
They was like, yeah, you just need to go home. Hey Jay, they did the COVID test. Oh, you fine? Bye. Go home. Just get some. I was like, dang, that's how they do you these days.
Oh wow. Oh wait, as we speak, Eloy just rocks one into the right center field gap. And it's a double, and Moncada scores 3-0 White Sox. So
Jay, I need my other gold chain on.
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys missed out on the buttons. There should have been some buttons open tonight.
Right. It's all right. Hey, we got our first guest. We're ready to talk some Bears. The Bears came out with their first victory of the season. And I'm so glad to have this guy on and have him come on our show. We want to introduce him to our viewers. He's got a great podcast along with our guy, Ken Davis. You know, the smooth Barry White think he is, dude. But they do this great podcast together under the Center for NBC Sports Chicago. So thank you so much for joining us. Our guy, Alex Shapiro. Alex, what's up, man?
Yo, Jason and Lance, thanks for having me on. I've been backstage a little bit. This seems like a riot. I love this show.
Yeah.
You know what, Alex? Thanks for coming on. Alex, I wasn't supposed to come on tonight, but I was afraid of my cousin, and I didn't want you doing him the wrong way, Alex, because he think he knows, but he really doesn't know, but he sounds like he knows. So I said, let me jump on.
We'll see. Also, I got to know before we start here. Is that a Demir Bird jersey, or are you rocking a biscuit jersey today?
You know what? I'm going to be honest. It helps me with my coaching, right? I really don't talk about coaching, but it's a Mitch jersey. Because when I come home and I think I maybe did some bad coaching, I look at old Mitch's jersey.
Oh, no.
I look at Mitch's jersey because I said, I'm not saying he should have went in front of Patrick and Deshaun and that, but I thought with a little bit more coaching, I thought Mitch could have been okay. And I very seldom try to talk about coaches at all. But I thought if he would have had some play packages that was probably a little bit better to make him successful at his position, he could have did a little bit better.
The truth, Alex, is he couldn't get more than $5 for that damn jersey after he bought it. So that's why he still got
Might as well wear it. Got it in the closet. Might as well wear it. No, I'm with you. He showed ability. He flashed the tools that he can be an NFL quarterback. And look, he tore up the Bears in the preseason, right? I mean, he got a little revenge. I know it was just the preseason, but he said, hey, look, I can do this.
Right. Well, hey, Alex, let's talk about what's going on right now with the Bears. They get the win over the Bengals yesterday. Of course, let's just start off right out. What is the status of Andy Dalton? Have you heard anything on the injury status?
So there is a report out there from Ian Rappaport saying that he's got a bone bruise, but the Bears themselves have not confirmed anything like that. When we spoke with Matt Nagy today, all he could say is that he didn't have an ACL tear and that they were undergoing or still awaiting test results from that MRI. Now, Ian Rappaport's a pretty reputable dude, so if he says bone bruise, I pretty much believe him when he says it's a bone bruise. In which case, I was talking with our guy, David Kaplan, today on The Rush. He said he suffered a bone bruise. Also, my colleague, Adam Hogue, he was saying, yeah, I've had a bone bruise, and man, it hurts a lot. Now, Andy Dalton, as we know, is a super tough dude. Sustained this injury, tried to gut it out before the Bears initially took him out. So I think it's still a little early to say whether this will keep him out of the game. We'll get more information as the week goes on. But based on Ian Rappaport's reporting, it does appear to be a bone bruise.
Interesting. I've had one of those before while I was playing baseball. I had one that went off the shin. Woo! Them bone bruises ain't no fun. It's no fun putting weight on your leg if you got one in your leg, man. So I feel you on that, Andy Dalton. Justin Fields came in, took over for Andy Dalton the rest of the game. He had played a couple of series prior to that. What did you think of Justin's performance yesterday? Because obviously he got more clock than he did in that first game.
Yeah, it's a little up and down. He made some flashy plays that are definitely positives, right? I mean, at the end of the game, that 3rd and 9, 10-yard scramble, that's a positive play that essentially helps the Bears ice the game. I know it is the David Montgomery first down that truly iced the game, but that's a big-time moment with the game on the line. Then on the other hand, you have the 2 false starts. I mean, how often do you see 1 false start from a quarterback, let alone 2 on the same drive? And 1 on 3rd and 5. I mean, that definitely hurts. It makes it a 3rd and 10. They eventually have to settle for a field goal. So those are the things where it's kind of a tale of 2 sides. The cover 0 blitz, that's gotten a lot of talk because that's where he threw the interception. And they have given props to the Bengals for, flashing this cover 0 look, and then the guy darts back where that hot route's supposed to be. So, yeah, it's a good play by the Bengals player. But at the same time, Justin Fields didn't see that guy. And, going forward, you would hope that he has that post-snap recognition, even though that is, a really good play. So you got to take the good with the bad. He flashed the legs. He made some great throws, right? he made some throws that he probably wants back to Darnell Mooney. That could have been a touchdown that Fields kind of left on the field. So kind of up and down is how I read it.
You know what, Alex? Let me ask you this. I like putting people on the spot. You have Trevor Lawrence. That's been okay. You have Zach Wilson that got picked off 4 times yesterday. I said all along we should probably start Andy Dalton because of the learning curve, but some people disagree with me. Do you think Justin Fields should start, or what do you think about Justin Fields? What is your gut saying?
At this point, I would probably say yeah. But when this all started, I didn't really have a problem with the plan as the Bears kind of laid it out. Now, they didn't really give us details of the plan at all, right?
No,
We never knew what the plan was, and we still don't really know what the plan is, the quote-unquote capital P plan. But at the beginning of the season, I didn't really have a problem with him sitting for a little bit. Now, you got to imagine, first-round draft pick, number 11 overall pick, he's probably not going to sit the whole season, and I didn't really expect him to sit as long as Patrick Mahomes did. But, sitting 5 games, 6 games, 7 games, whatever it was, I didn't really have a problem with that as long as, he was developing, he was growing. Now, as they've gone through this, we can see that Justin Fields has pretty much knocked everything laid in front of him out of the park, right? They had him reciting the play calls and getting in out of the huddle and all of that kind of clerical pre-snap stuff. And then, by all counts, he handled that. And then they threw him in the preseason. He looked real good in the preseason. They give him a few plays, and he seemed to handle those few plays. Now, last week or yesterday, Sunday, was the first time where you see, oh yeah, these are the rookie mistakes. But I think he was deserving of that full series, right? Maybe even a full half. At this point now that he played this full half, he's gotten it under his belt, especially given the Andy Dalton injury that could keep him out of the starting lineup next week. Once Justin Fields is starting and in there and doing it, I don't know that there's going back. At this point, I think it's like, yeah, if he's your guy and he's going to be starting, go forward. I don't know how you start and then you come back and you sit on the bench and then you're starting again. That to me, not only, I don't know if it's going to be a detriment to Justin Fields, but I can see how it could almost be a detriment to the Bears, right? You're changing schemes, you're changing philosophies. There's a lot going on where if it's me, and I don't know, I've never developed a quarterback in my life. I'm going to be honest. I've never done something like that. But, from my perspective, it just seems that once he's the guy, let him be the guy, let him take over the team and run with it. And I don't want a Tua Tagovailoa situation. Sorry, I kind of butchered his name there. I kind of more in the Jalen Hurts camp where it's like, let him take his lumps, let him ride that out versus putting him in and then, you had a few rough weeks, so we're going back to Andy Dalton. Like, no, let him ride him out, let him ride it out, let him play.
I do agree with you, Alex, right? Once he's in, he should be in. But I have a but. And you probably know better than me, you and Jason, because you guys are in the media. If they told Andy Dalton he was supposed to start, that's what rumor has it. Yeah. Would you have started Andy Dalton, even though maybe Fields seemed like or looked like he was a better quarterback in a short sample size?
That's tough. And, I don't know that there ever was a promise, to be honest. We hear about this promise made to Andy Dalton. I don't know that there was a promise. I don't know.
What's your gut saying? What's your gut?
My gut saying is that when they signed him, they probably said, yeah, we're signing you to be our starter, but there is an opportunity for us to draft a quarterback. And he said that too. He's like, I know what the score is. I know that they could go out and get a guy, but they signed me to be the starter. And I do believe that to be true. When the quarterback room was Andy Dalton and Nick Foles, like Andy Dalton was the starter. There was not going to be a quarterback competition. So I'm unsure about this promise narrative, but let's say that there was a promise. Let's say they said, we're going to make you our week 1 starter, which I'm not sure that they should have done. But let's say that did happen. Then, yeah, I think you let him start week 1. And if Justin Fields is clearly the better quarterback after that, then you can make a switch. because what you don't want to do is if it gets out that they're making promises to free agents, which again, I'm not sure that they did. If it gets out that they're making promises to free agents and then going back on those promises, does that then hurt their chances of signing a free agent in the future? Like, why should I listen to Ryan Pace and what he's telling me? They told Andy Dalton he's going to be the week 1 starter, and then they go back on that. Now, again, I'm not sure that any of this really happened. But in that scenario, then, like, yeah, you probably should make good on at least that week 1 promise and at least make it Andy Dalton's job to lose. And, you know, Andy Dalton last week, let's be honest, he looked pretty good. He looked pretty good in that first half.
Yeah, he was decent. Hey, he was really good on the first drive in yesterday's game. Hell, he led them all the way down the field for a touchdown. I couldn't believe it. So, yeah, I agree with you. Once again, we're being joined by Alex Shapiro, NBC Sports Chicago, and the Under the Center podcast. And Alex, let's talk a little bit about the defense. They played well yesterday. That was the defense we were all looking to see from the Bears. They were creating turnovers. There was an Eddie Jackson sighting, for the love of God. Eddie Jackson showed up. He was playing. Khalil Mack got a sack. Akeem Hicks was pressuring the quarterback and knocking wide receivers out the game. It was unbelievable. Talk to me a little bit about that defensive performance yesterday from the Bears.
I mean, total statement performance, right? I mean, man, what a maligned group they were for a week. And they had to field a bunch of tough questions, and deservedly so. I mean, they made a lot of mental mistakes. They're supposed to be superstars. They're supposed to be veterans. And, you know, it's a little bit worrisome when they make the coverage mistakes that they did. They clearly took it seriously and kind of vowed to get it cleaned up, and they got it cleaned up. So, yeah, I mean, you talk about Eddie Jackson, right? We all saw the strip, but also that 3rd and 1 stop, that tackle for a loss, big time. I mean, that's a big time play. And the other thing that I noticed from this game is it felt like Sean Desai's fingerprints were all over it, right? You think about the Roquan Smith. Yeah, let's go to the Roquan Smith. I meant to say Robert Quinn, but both of them. The Roquan Smith sack, he comes out of coverage. Christian Jones has that inside move. Roquan described it perfectly, and it allowed him to come free running. Robert Quinn and Khalil Mack are lined up on the same side of the line. And then you have that nice little stunt where Quinn comes inside, gets a pretty much free pass to the quarterback. Eddie Jackson being on the line in the run stuff. I mean, these are ways that I think Sean Desai is putting his fingerprints on the game, putting his guys in a position to succeed, right? What have we heard all off season? We're really excited to play in Sean Desai's defense because he's going to put guys in position to succeed. That did not come to fruition in week 1. In week 2, I feel like we saw that. I feel like we saw Sean Desai putting his guys in position to make plays and then the players executing. So, I mean, big time statement. Akeem Hicks said it after the game, you know, like, this is what I expect. No doubt we can play to this level. This is going to be our message going forward. You know, before the game, we reminded ourselves, what is the type of defense that we want to play? Let's go out there and show it. They showed it.
Without a doubt.
We lost Lance.
We lost Lance. I think he probably hit his butt. He's sick.
Sorry
the man is sick. He don't know what
I'm not like in the words of Pops Irvin, when you step on the court, you're not sick. So I'm not sick. But anyway, Alex, you know, we're talking about the defense, right? And, you know, but next week is the week that's going to really show me some stuff. Because I know old Nick Chubb, number 25, coming out the backfield, is a pretty good runner. I know Baker Mayfield is a pretty good passer, and Odell Beckham and those guys. So it's going to be a step up for what we saw. Nothing against the Bengals. It's going to be a step up. That's going to determine, I think, how good our defense really is, right? Because like I said, Eddie showed up. He finally showed up. But Eddie going to have to do that next week.
Yes,
before I start giving Eddie some credit.
I mean, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. So do it again.
So let's see what we do next week. But I thought the defense really played well, though.
In terms of the run defense, though, I mean, yeah, Nick Chubb is a beast. I mean, that guy is a strong runner. And Kareem Hunt, too, coming out, showing the receiving skills out of the backfield. I mean, that's a talented two-headed monster. But Joe Mixon is no slouch. That is the guy who, against the Vikings, was the leading rusher in week 1. And then the Rams, their bread and butter is the zone read or the zone rushing game, right? The outside zone game. And then, I mean, really, it was week one. It was the busted coverages and the big plays that killed them. They did a decent job of shutting down that run game. And then who knows if Eddie Goldman comes back? That's another guy we got to get an update on. How's Eddie Goldman doing? Because when he gets in there, he clogs up the middle. Bilal Nichols moves back outside. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be another tough challenge going against Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. But I think the Bears have shown they're up to the task of stopping the run. And then, again, the Bengals, they got playmakers, man. Jamar Chase is no joke. T. Higgins is no joke. And Tyler Boyd is real good in the slot. I mean, that honestly might be the biggest concern for me right now is the slot corner defense. Week one, it was Marquis Christian. Didn't look that great. Week two, it was Duke Shelley. Didn't look that great. I mean, he was the one dude who you could kind of see was getting picked on. So I'm less concerned about the run defense.
Gotcha.
More concerned about that middle of the field slot defense. But what is a positive, I mean, you never want to see guys get hurt. But another report that came out is that Jarvis Landry, who's their reliable receiver guy, he's dealing with an injury and he could miss the game too. So if you take away that kind of reliable middle of the defense threat, that could make things a little bit easier. But I mean, again, none of this is to say that it's a lock, that they are going to play up to that level again. You're absolutely right. They got to show it again because we saw week one, we saw week two. Now, show me that you can do that again. Show me that you're closer to week two than week one.
There you go.
I agree. I got to ask you this. Armando Lara sent us a comment, and he was saying, I bet there's a taunting penalty in the game tonight, which is Green Bay and Detroit. And so, the NFL does this every year. I tried to explain this more. They tell officials, we really want to put an emphasis on this particular rule this year and have you really enforce this. So the taunting penalty, both teams got one in yesterday's game. My whole thing is it's football. They're taunting each other on every single damn play. They're always talking stuff. But it seems as though the league is taking a stance this year where they're going to enforce this taunting penalty. Just what were your thoughts on that? And was Matt Nagy asked about that penalty that the Bears got yesterday for taunting?
He was asked about it, and he essentially said, he said he supported the rule, but it seemed like he was just kind of taking the league's line, and basically said, listen, this is the rule. We have to operate in the framework of the rule. I want our guys to have that swag. We just need to celebrate within ourselves on the sideline or just direct it to ourselves. You just can't direct a celebration to the other team. And you just have to understand that, and didn't really speak out against it. But yeah, what is this penalty hurt? Who are we trying to protect here? Exactly. You guys in the last block, we're just talking about talking trash, and that's fun. If you play competitive sports, talking trash is part of it. And who are you trying to protect? Are viewers really incensed? Are viewers really outraged about all of the taunting that's going on in the NFL? I mean, I suppose it's kind of like a message of sportsmanship that you're trying to send, but it just seems like, personally, now this is me personally talking, it seems like kind of a strange rule to want to harp on. But yeah, the taunting, I get the clapping over the guy. I understand why that would have been flagged because you're clapping right over him after you make a great play. The second one I actually thought was a super savvy move by Dalton because I don't think that flag was going to get called. And then Dalton goes over to the ref and is like, yo, hey, you called it on us. You got to call it on him too. Well, that's what it at least appeared. He's talking to the ref. And then sure enough, the ref flags it. And then that got him out. They were backed up against the end zone. That got him out of that and gave him some breathing room. So I thought it was kind of a savvy move for Dalton to plead the case.
Right. It's kind of like this to me. You know how they call targeting in college, right? I really don't like the rule, but I understand why I said. And the taunting stuff, come on, y'all. These grown men playing football, right? So if I say, this is what I'm going to do to you, so be it. Stop them. But at the end of the day, it just doesn't make sense to me. And everybody talks. Most people talk. So it just doesn't make sense to me. But Alice, let me ask you this. It seems like I like our tight ends, right? I really do. but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like they've been getting enough targets, enough passes. What do you think about our tight ends? Do we need to use them a little more? Because I see Brady going to Gronk a lot, but I think our tight ends are really good. What's your thoughts on that? So if I'm playing fantasy football, maybe I could pick up a tight end or two.
Well, if you're playing fantasy football right now, I don't think I would pick up either Jimmy Graham or Cole Kmet. I would find a flyer elsewhere. Maybe Mike Gesicki's available. Yeah, I don't know. But I think everybody, I mean, Matt Nagy included, he said it today, thinks, the tight ends absolutely need to be involved more in the passing game, which is surprising because you're seeing a lot of 2 and sometimes even 3 tight end sets where you think they'd be drawing those targets. Now, he did say there were a couple times, there are concepts where there are multiple reads. The tight end might have been the first read and it was taken away, so you got to go elsewhere. But yeah, you would expect, especially since they decided to keep Jimmy Graham, right? They decided to keep Jimmy Graham in addition to rolling with Cole Kmet, and then went out and signed Jesse James, right? They brought in Jake Butt. Jake Butt didn't work out. He retired. So they then continued to go out and get Jesse James. So do I expect the tight ends to draw more than one target going forward? Yes, absolutely. Do I think they need to be? Do they need to work that middle of the field more? Yes, absolutely. Because they have so much talent there. Cole Kmet, talented guy. And they would have had, you want to talk about soft penalties, that OPI, oh my goodness, was that soft. So it's 1 reception on 2 targets. Is that much better? No, but they, that's another play that was erased by a penalty. But yeah, especially again, with all the 2 tight end sets that we have seen, you got to expect the tight ends to get the ball eventually, especially in the red zone. I mean, those are great, huge red zone targets. Jimmy Graham, we talk about his basketball skills all the time. I mean, dude just boxes out and bam, it's like touchdown. It's easy mode. So even if you're just putting Jimmy Graham in the red zone to soak up those targets, you want to see him more.
I agree. We got time for one more question for you, Alex. I wanted to ask you, obviously last year, no fans were allowed at Soldier Field. I think that made a big difference. Yesterday it was very loud out there. Fans looked like they had a good time. And they're playing this week in Cleveland. However, there's a lot of people going to Cleveland for this game who are Bears fans. They're just going to do the 5.5, 6 hour drive, get there. And the White Sox are playing there too against the Indians. So you can kind of make it a 2-for-2 kind of weekend, which is kind of a bonus. So
yeah, that's a great weekend.
What are your thoughts on just the crowd at Soldier Field? What was going on yesterday? How that played into the game, and what you're expecting from the Bears out of Cleveland with all those people going out there too?
Well, I don't know what to expect with Bears fans traveling to Cleveland, but that would be great. I mean, that sounds like an awesome weekend. Hopefully the Sox got the division locked up by then. You're right? And you just mentioned the magic number's down to 3. Hopefully it's down to 1 by tonight. So it should be totally old news by then. But you want to see them get into playoff shape, La Russa tweaking with the lineup, getting that pitching staff in order. So that sounds great. In terms of the crowd at Soldier Field, I think that did have an effect on the defense specifically. It sounds kind of cliche about home field advantage and all that, but multiple players mentioned that having that crowd energy, they fed off that. And then I think that helps those contagious takeaways, right? I mean, Roquan Smith gets the pick 6. And I know the fumble happened before that. But Roquan Smith gets the pick 6, and the place went nuts. I mean, Soldier Field did go crazy. And then you could see, the defense gets really charged up. So the next time they take the field, it's like, I want to bring that energy back. They feel that. They feed off that. And that's where I think the crowd and the defense and the energy, it does play into each other. And I think that is, we talk about it being an intangible, right? But you can kind of feel it. You can kind of feel that momentum. The crowd gets behind them. The defense gets super hyped up. They play with that swag. They play with that edge. It probably does make a difference. So, yeah, Bears fans, if they make it Soldier Field East,
could be a fun weekend. Could be a fun weekend in Cleveland, man. Everybody going out to Cleveland, be safe and visit the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame while you out there too in Cleveland. But hey, Alex, thank you so much for joining us on What's Up, Cuz. Tell everybody where they can find your work and listen to the Under the Center podcast.
Yeah, so you can read me on NBCSportsChicago.com. And then, as you mentioned, I'm on the Under Center podcast with your pal, Ken Davis, excellent host. We got Adam Hogue, who comes on a bunch. We've got Eric Strobel, our football after show producer. So he's in the green room watching the game with Olin Kreutz and Lance Briggs and Alex Brown. I mean, so he's in the trenches with those guys. So he's great to hear from. And then we have WMAQ Siafa Lewis that joins us once a week. So the Undersetter podcast, we have a great time week in, week out. NBC Sports Chicago. And now we have more NBC Sports Chicago with the best Bulls man in the biz, Casey Johnson. I love doing this peacock handoff. NBC Sports Chicago Bears to NBC Sports Chicago Bulls. Y'all got a great lineup tonight. Well done.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Hey, we appreciate it, man. We'll see you soon, and let's keep going Bears. So everybody check out his work, man. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks guys for having me on. Fun time.
We're gonna take a quick commercial, and then coming up, Casey Johnson. We're gonna talk Bulls. This is the first time I was able to wear this shirt with some pride and God knows how long, Lance. My goodness. We'll be right back. You're watching What's Up, Cuz.
Right now, the COVID-19 vaccines are available to millions of Americans, and soon they will be available to everyone.
This vaccine means hope. It will protect you and those you love from this dangerous and deadly disease.
I want to go back to work, and I want to be able to move around.
To visit with Michelle's mom, to hug her and see her on her birthday.
You know what I'm really looking forward to is going to opening day in Texas Ranger Stadium with a full stadium.
We've lost enough people, and we've suffered enough damage.
In order to get rid of this pandemic, it's important for our fellow citizens to get vaccinated.
I'm getting vaccinated because we want this pandemic to end as soon as possible.
So we urge you to get vaccinated when it's available to you.
So roll up your sleeve and do your part.
This is our shot. Now it's up to you.
Welcome back, everybody, to What's Up, Cuz. I'm your host, Jason Palmer, along with my cousin, the coach himself, Lance Irvin. Update from Detroit. That ain't a good one, Lance. The Tigers have tied the White Sox at 3. They're now at the top of the 4th. White Sox get a runner all, but terrible team defense by the White Sox in the bottom of the 3rd, which is what I said could be this team's Achilles heel going to the playoffs. I'm kind of afraid with their team defense, but
was it Eloy, Jason?
No, it was our Gold Glove second baseman that we traded for from Cleveland, who made some bonehead stuff. And then we got our outfielder playing first base today. Gavin Sheets is not a first baseman, but Tony is just playing around with the lineup. And
Tony
threw the ball
experimented for the playoffs.
He really is.
He's experimenting. He's trying some stuff.
He's trying to figure out how he's going to get Sheets on the playoff roster because you need that bat. But he kind of want to keep Goodwin too. But I'm like, man, I'm going with Sheets. But anyway, we'll talk about that later because it's time to talk some hoops. This is your neck of the woods. Now let's get ready to talk some hoops with our guy. He's got his own podcast with your good friend, Kendall Gill, who's been on our show.
KG, okay.
He got KG. He's got Will Perdue on his show. So it's oh my God, it's a great podcast. It really, really is. And he's a Bulls insider. This guy wrote for the Tribune for a lot of years. I want to talk to him about some media stuff too. And now, to see all the stuff that he's doing with NBC Sports Chicago. Let's bring him on. Casey Johnson, the Bulls insider. Casey, what's up, man? Thanks for coming on.
Good to be with you guys, Jason, Lance. Thank you for having me. I didn't realize I had my own hype man and Alex Shapiro. apparently I do, so that's all good, man.
Oh, man. KC, how are you? Hey, everyone needs a good hype man. We all need a good hype man. I try to. Hey, I'm Jason's hype man.
That's right. So Lance a little under the weather today, but he's sticking it out. And we're gonna talk some hoops. And Casey, I think for the first time since Derrick Rose was here during those teams, Bulls fans going into a season are excited. They have expectations. They see what the Bulls did in the free agent market. Obviously, drafting Io in the 2nd round was a big local boost for people. People are more excited about this team. What are your thoughts as training camp is getting ready to open here in about a week?
Yeah, so they start a week from today, guys, with Media Day and the first practice of training camp is a week from tomorrow. So a lot of those guys have been in the Advocate Center already, working out informally as a team, which is always good for a team that's going to have a lot of different parts coming together. Because you're absolutely spot on, Jason. From a excitement level and an intriguing level, there's a lot of possibility here. But as you guys know, with basketball, it takes all those guys coming together, and it's a lot of different and new moving parts. On paper, they seem to fit together pretty well, particularly offensively. I love the DeMar DeRozan addition, which we can get into a little bit. But I hear the same stuff you're hearing. It's like the stuff that crosses my sphere via Twitter or email or what have you. There's quite a bit of excitement heading into the season, so it should be a fun product to watch.
You know what? Let's talk about the guard play. We spent a lot of time last year. Jason wasn't a big fan of Kobe White. I kind of like Kobe White. What do you think Kobe's role would be this year? Because I told Jason I think he's a serviceable point guard. I'm not going to put words in your mouth, cousin Jason. Speak up. I like Kobe White. Where do you think Kobe would fit in with the addition of Lonzo Ball? On the ball, off the ball? Or what do you think?
Yeah, so the other addition you got to remember is Alex Caruso, who can play some
exactly.
So, I do think Kobe's going to be kind of more in that off the ball catch and shoot role, and Kobe's obviously coming off that off-season shoulder surgery, so he's going to be delayed at the start of the season. Exactly when, we don't know the timeline yet. I would guess he'll maybe miss a couple weeks, 3 weeks of the season. But I'm with you, Lance. I'm actually a pretty big Kobe White fan. I think there's been so much focus on what he isn't that sometimes what's lost is what he is. And what he is a guy who can score in bunches. Now, they obviously have a lot of accomplished offensive pieces on this roster. So, maybe his role will be more limited. But I think the fact that he's going to be in less decision-making situations and more catch and shoot situations is a good thing for the Bulls, because that's, to me, when he's at his best, is when he's just catching and firing.
I watched him practice a couple of years ago, and it's going to lead into my next question. And him and Larry Marketing were playing a one-on-one. They had a one-on-one competition, and just watching him catch and shoot like one dribble pull-up, I liked the way he shot it, and he had really good size. But talk to me about Marketing. Do you think we should have moved him, or do you think that was a guy that needed a little bit more time?
Well, I'm a big fan of his skill, but I do think they needed to move him. It was clear that he to me is one of those guys who's going to benefit from a fresh start. It just wasn't working for him here for a variety of levels. And look, Larry Marketing is not a boat rocker, and for him to be as forceful in that polite Finnish manner that he used to be as forceful as he was in trying to get out of here. I mean, Jason nailed it. It's like there's so much positivity surrounding this team. Why would you want that hanging over your head when you know he's going to walk next year when he reaches unrestricted free agency status? So, the Bulls, I think, did the right thing, finding him a new home. I do think that he can thrive in that role in Cleveland. He's going to have some solid point guard play there. Really, for the first time in his career, he has not had strong point guard play in his time here in Chicago. But look, man, Lowry's got a ton of skill, but he just, for whatever reason, was up and down, as we all know, here with the Bulls.
Billy Donovan, now this is going to be his second year here. And I tell everybody we got to give coaches time to develop their system and things that they want to do as well. So now, Billy's this will be the second year under his system. What are you expecting from Billy Donovan and his coaching staff this year?
That's a great question. I'm as excited as anybody else to find out the answer to that. What I'll say is this: he's got a ton of possibilities. I mean, you look at these lineups on paper. I mean, obviously the presumptive starters are going to be Lonzo at point, Zach at shooting guard, DeMar at the 3, Patrick Williams at 4, and Vucevic at 5. But you stagger your starters, and you have tons of possibilities. You can play DeMar at 4 in a small ball lineup. You've got some nice depth with Caruso coming off the bench, Kobe White coming off the bench. So he can really he can play some 3-guard lineups. His last year at Oklahoma City, he loved that 3-guard look with Chris Paul, obviously, CP3 and SGA leading the charge there, and Schroeder was on that team. So he's got a ton of flexibility and possibility. I'm going to be most curious to see how this team plays defensively, because I think offensively they got a lot of weapons and a lot of potential. you're not going to be able to double and triple team Zach LaVine anymore. It's as simple as that. You've got Vucevic, who can pick and pop, can do some damage on the block occasionally. And then you got DeMar, who's as, solid of a mid-range scorer as there is in this league still. I think offensively they're going to be set. I think defensively they need to answer some questions about how they perform at that end.
You know what, Casey, I'm liking you already. Those some questions that I had, and you will read my mind. Because even though the ball is not being thrown inside like it used to be, I'm still concerned about our inside presence, right? If we play against a forcible inside player, who's going to be able to defend? I like Vuk, even in the pick and pop situation, right? So I'm concerned about our four, and I'm concerned about that. What do you think? Do you think we need another piece to guard some of the biggest centers on the inside, or do you think that we're okay?
No, I think you're spot on. I think that's, to me, the number one question on this roster entering the season is rim protection. I just don't see it. I mean, Vucevic, I think, has been panned a little bit too unfairly as a defender. He's not a real mobile guy, but he is a decent defensive rebounder, and he does, at least in a team scheme, try to get to the right place. He's not going to be good in space guarding, switches and things like that. That's just not who he is. But he's not a horrible team defender. But past him, you're right. I mean, if Patrick Williams is your starting four, you're undersized right off the jump. And I think Patrick Williams is a very good defender, but rim protection is going to be an issue, I think, for this team. Now, one guy we haven't talked about, and he's not a sexy or splashy or flashy signing, but Tony Bradley is one of these just solid, fundamental dudes who just does everything fundamentally sound. He's proficient. I think he's a very good team defender, good rebounder. I've heard from scouts that I trust that this dude could play a pretty significant role for this team coming off the bench. But even past him, then, what are you doing? I mean, where's your rim protection? You got Vucevic and him. You got an undersized Patrick Williams at 4 who does have some length. So you're spot on. That to me is going to be a big storyline throughout the Bulls season.
And let's talk about the guards, right? You have Caruso over there. You have Tony Brown over there. I think Tony Brown can really shoot it a little bit. You have Lonzo Ball. You have DeRozan. Also, it's gonna be curious to me to see who they really play early on, because like you mentioned, he has a lot of options over there. Who do you think should be the quote unquote sixth man when you get past Kobe White?
Well, I think Caruso might even jump frog Kobe, particularly, like I said, with Kobe starting the season on the shelf, coming off that shoulder surgery. Caruso is there, to me, right off the jump. He's their best on-ball defender. He's a huge disruptor of pick and roll. He's just one of those annoying, pesky guys who gets deflections, dives on the floor, fights over screens, good on the point of attack. And they don't have a lot of those guys. I mean, Lonzo Ball is a very good defender, but he's not a great on the point of attack defender. He's a more good perimeter defender, very, very good at shutting guards down when they try to penetrate once they get off the screen. But and that's never been his strong suit. So I think Caruso is going to play a pretty big role for this team, and I think that's going to be your main. Those are the four guards that project to play the most. Obviously, are Ball, LaVine, Caruso, and White. How Billy doles up those minutes or what combinations he uses, I can't say until once we get into camp and kind of see the rotation and things like that.
Once again, go ahead. I would say once again being joined by Casey Johnson here of the now I got a call on the Bulls Talk podcast. We're talking some Bulls basketball. Go ahead, Lance.
No, I'm sitting there smiling because I watched Zach try to play defense
in the
Olympics. How come we don't see that same effort during the season a little bit? Because he tried to guard now.
All right, I really like where you're going here because so I know somebody knows Jay Wright really well, and obviously he was an assistant for Popovich on that team, and he told me that Jay Wright was talking to him and just said he could not believe the entire coaching staff could not believe A, Zach's role acceptance, and B, his commitment at the defensive end. So to your point, this is where I think the DeMar signing is so huge because DeMar is going to take some of that offensive burden off Zach's shoulders and kind of free him up to have that energy to be that elite two-way player, which he can be. I mean, you guys see it. He's as athletic. He's as athletic as they come, and you saw it in those short bursts for Team USA where he was able to be a much better defender. So you need to see that on a more consistent basis. I maintain like Zach's scoring numbers and his scoring efficiency, which to me were on point and just lights out last season. They could go down, yet he could have a better season because he'll impact winning more and impact both ends more by playing better defense and having DeMar maybe take some of his scoring load off of him, and Vucevic for that matter.
Yeah, I think defense, it's all about wanting to do it. Defense is about effort and heart. And I just thought Zach just didn't want to do it, and it was shocking to see what he did in the Olympics. And, I hope he doesn't feel like, well, that's not my role with the Bulls, because you got to stop people too. So we'll see kind of what he does going forward this year in that role as well. But Casey, I want to ask you another question. So a lot of Bulls fans kind of drifted away from the team, especially after, COVID hit. We had the NBA All-Star game here, and then all of a sudden COVID exploded like a week later, and everything just went kind of haywire. But I think Bulls fans more than anything sent a message to this organization during that All-Star weekend. And I think personally, the organization was embarrassed by the fans who were booing on national TV during the All-Star weekend. We wanted people out of here. We wanted to see change. You're around the team a lot. Do you think that had anything to do with Gar Pax being removed and then changing completely philosophy? I mean, they even have a player development person now, for the love of God, which they didn't have. Do you think the fans really pushed this organization to make changes?
So I would answer that two ways. Unfortunately, the short answer I would say is no, and here's why. But your point is spot on in the sense that they were embarrassed. I mean, I've never seen an All-Star game where it was crazy, because like you had this completely disparate feel of like where the Bulls are and like where Chicago basketball is. And I mean, it was celebrating everything but the current Bulls product, right? It was celebrating obviously the great, incredible heritage and history in the city has produced. It was celebrating the game, the current NBA game, which the Bulls, in a rebuild, were not anywhere near sniffing. It was celebrating the Bulls dynasty with Jordan and everything. And it's there was such a disparate feeling that it was crazy to be around now. But that said, John Paxson, and I reported it way back when, and it's come out, and both John and Michael Reinsdorf have acknowledged it publicly since. But John Paxson went to ownership that year in December, so 2 months before the All-Star game, and goes, "Look, man, I can't do this anymore. I mean, I'll stick around in whatever capacity you guys want me to, because the Reinsdorfs love John Paxson like a son. But we need to be more dynamic. We need to switch things up." And that's when Michael Reinsdorf started the search that ultimately produced Arturas Karnisovas. And then Arturas led the search that produced Mark Eversley. So, and John's still around as an advisor. So John saw it, but you are right that the fan base has been very disgruntled since the Jimmy Butler trade, and largely, the interest around this team has really waned. And now there has been, ever since Arturas was hired, there's a little bit of buzz. And then Arturas and his staff, including Mark, have been incredibly aggressive flipping this roster, which I will point out, because I sometimes find myself defending John a little bit, because it's so long ago that he replaced Jerry Krause. People forget, like John did this same thing in 2003. He completely took over and flipped Jerry Krause's roster, except for Eddie Curry and Tyson Chandler, within 2 seasons, and started building a perennial playoff team. So that's the hope that Arturas can be. But by the end of the tenure, the Garpax era obviously had soured, and John, to his credit, was one of the first to acknowledge that.
Speaking about disgruntled people, Scottie Pippen and his upcoming book. I gotta ask you, Casey, 1, are you gonna read the book? 2, have you talked to Scottie about this? I'm like, he called Phil Jackson a racist. I mean, he just went all off the rail. Wait, give me some thoughts on this, Casey.
I will read the book. I'm very intrigued by it. I've known Scottie a long time. I have not talked to Scottie recently. The Phil thing was an unfortunate incident that I just kind of let pass. But I mean, Scottie, he's obviously such a great player, and you just hope he is happy at the end of the day. And I'll be reading the book to see what's bothering him. It seems like there's a lot bothering him.
So I know I gotta let you go, but I gotta ask you one last couple quick questions.
Yeah, I need to ask you a question.
Obviously, you were at the Tribune for a very long time, and
Yeah.
then you left there. You're doing your own thing now. We see what's going on with our local newspapers and just sports media in general. What do you think is the current health of the Chicago sports media as a whole? And that now includes a lot of podcasts.
Well, I think Chicago sports media as a whole is fantastic. I mean, obviously newspapers have, had a downward trend for many years now. But I was actually just talking to a Sun-Times photographer that I ran into on Sunday that, we were just talking about how this city is a better city when there's two vibrant newspapers, because it covers the city better, it holds people accountable better, it gives people more options for good journalism. So, I spent 29 fantastic years at the Chicago Tribune. I've got a lot of love for that place. I hope it does well moving forward. I read the Sun-Times, I read the Tribune, I read the New York Times, I read the Washington Post. I'm a newspaper guy that now pretends to be a TV guy on NBC Sports Chicago. So it's all good.
Hey, you know what, KC? I can't let you out the hot seat so soon. We have Brooklyn, we have Milwaukee, we have Miami Heat. The East, we have Philadelphia 76ers, who we don't know if they're going to keep Ben Simmons. We don't know what. Where would the Chicago Bulls fall this year? You think, are they in the middle of the pack, upper level? Because they did get some trades, but I don't know if that's good enough to get past this first round.
Good question.
No, you're spot on, because here's the thing, they pushed kind of their chips in to kind of get in win now mode, and they burned on some draft capital to do it. So everybody's excited about it, but you start doing exactly what you do it. Okay, Brooklyn's definitely better. Milwaukee's definitely better. Miami is almost certainly better. Philadelphia is probably better, especially if they keep Ben Simmons. Celtics always seem to be okay. They stumbled a little bit, but they still got two pretty good damn all-stars and Jason Tatum. So it's like you start doing the math, you're like, where are the Bulls sit? So I'm not going to answer your question yet. I'm going to wait to see how they get off the start and all that stuff. But here's the thing: if this team doesn't make the playoffs, yikes, because they've traded away a lot of draft picks, and you've committed a lot of money to some pretty big names. So this is the season they got to go out and do it on the court, no doubt.
Yeah, I had to ask you that. I couldn't let you get off the hot seat.
All right. Well, thank you, KC. Thank you so much for joining us here on What's Up, Cuz. Tell everybody where they can listen to your podcast. And it's a great podcast with our good friend Kendall Gill and Will Perdue on there too.
Yeah. So we got the Bulls Talk podcast at our shop, NBC Sports Chicago. We got all 82 Bulls games on our airwaves at NBC Sports Chicago. And then, like Alex was saying, you can read I still write. I still consider myself a reporter and a writer before anything else.
That's right.
And that's at NBCSportsChicago.com. So thank you for having me, gentlemen. I really enjoyed it.
Excellent. KC Johnson, everybody, check out his work. We're going to take a commercial break, and then we're going to close out tonight's episode of What's Up, Cuz. Thanks a lot, KC. Later.
Right now, the COVID-19 vaccines are available to millions of Americans, and soon they will be available to everyone.
This vaccine means hope. It will protect you and those you love from this dangerous and deadly disease.
I want to go back to work, and I want to be able to move around.
To visit with Michelle's mom, to hug her and see her on her birthday.
I'm really looking forward to is going to opening day in Texas Ranger Stadium with a full stadium.
We've lost enough people, and we've suffered enough damage.
In order to get rid of this pandemic, it's important for our fellow citizens to get vaccinated.
I'm getting vaccinated because we want this pandemic to end as soon as possible.
So we urge you to get vaccinated when it's available to you.
So roll up your sleeve and do your part.
This is our shot.
Now it's up to you.
Welcome back, everybody, to What's Up, Cuz. The last 5 minutes, so we're going to close it out so Lance can get his butt back in bed.
Hey, you done woke me up now.
Real quick, the Detroit Lions just scored 7-0 right now over the Green Bay Packers.
All right, there you go. Ivan said it was going to be a game until the fourth quarter, so we shall see. Hey, before we get out of here, let's talk real quick. The Chicago Sky completed their regular season yesterday. They got a win over the Indiana Fever. They are now in a play-in game against the Dallas Wings. That game will take place this week. And then the winner of that game goes and plays, I think, the second overall seed, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, and that's a winner-take-all, too.
And that's a winner-take-all, too. So talk to me a little bit, Lance, about the Chicago Sky this year. Obviously, they started off real slow because Candace was hurt. And then you had the Olympic break, but then they came back and went on a streak and got themselves into the playoffs. What do you think about our Sky?
You know what? I was happy they made the playoffs. I think they've been playing better as of late. I think Cooper, she's been playing well. She's really been shooting it well. Stevens. Candace Parker has been Candace Parker, but Quigley is my girl. Quigley she makes them go. And one thing about the Dallas Wings, they have guards. So we're really going to have to guard and take them off of the three-point line. So with that being said, I like our chances, right? I'm trying to go to the game. Hopefully I'll be feeling better so I can go. But Enrique from Notre Dame that plays for Dallas, that's a walk-in basket right there. So, we really going to have to try to slow her down. And I think if we slow her down, we'll be okay. I think we ended up 15-16 this year.
16-16. Dead even.
16-16. But as of late, we have been playing better. I know we beat Seattle twice, and I think Seattle has a double bye. I think they made it all the way to the semifinals. So with that being said, I think if the Shields playing the way she's been playing, I think we'll be. See, I think Jay Weeks should make some noise because now one game. So I like our chances. And this where Coach Wade really shines, right? Because he does some of his better coaching in the playoffs also.
The thing about the WNBA playoffs, which is it's complicated because the Sky are in the Eastern Conference. They finished second place in the Eastern Conference with a record of 16-16, but they're the number 6 seed overall. The Western Conference has basically everybody but one team had a better record than the Sky, and that was the Dallas Wings, who finished last in the West, or next to last in the West, but they still made the playoffs to get in this play-in game. So the WNBA playoffs, just how it's set up, is kind of weird. And I think, maybe that's something they need to look at going forward to try to bring more excitement into the game. But I am happy that the Sky are there. They really overcame a lot because at the beginning of the season, I was like, man, they in trouble. Candace Parker did all this to come home, and now we're going to get shut out the playoffs. But they got their act together, and they're going to be in the playoffs. So, I'm definitely going to be wishing them well going forward here. And I'm with you. I'm going to try to get out to a playoff game, too.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to get there Thursday, Jay, if I'm feeling better, because I haven't been to a game yet. And I really do like women's basketball, and I think they put a very good product on the floor. So just going out there, just seeing how they are. Like I said, I love Coach Wade, and we have to try to get out there to see the GOAT while she's still playing, right? Candace Parker knows she's good.
Yes, she's a hell of an analyst on TNT for the NBA as well. When she does her analyst, you can tell she know the game and what she's talking about. So I've always said the great ones, you don't take them for granted. Whether it's the musicians that you want to see in concerts, comedians. Athletes, they only have a career for so long, and once they're gone, they're gone. So you got to get out there and see them. So I want to get out there and see Candace perform. I want to see the Sky play. I hadn't been able to do it this year, but I'm definitely going to try to get out there for this playoff game.
Let me ask you this: did you go see John Legend a couple of weeks ago? He was in your neck of the woods.
I did not. I wanted to go see Charlie Wilson, who was here at Summerfest, but I couldn't.
You didn't go see Uncle Charlie?
I couldn't see Uncle Charlie, man. I had reffing duty, so otherwise I'd have been out there and seeing Uncle Charlie. But maybe next year. So hey, that's it for this week's show. Lance, thank you for pulling yourself out of the bed and coming in and joining your cousin.
That's for Lance right there.
There you go. Way to go, Lance.
Like a champ. Lance never. You know what? You moved up now, Lance. Like you went from already up on my list to up through the roof. Like I couldn't believe it.
I appreciate that because I started listening and I said, oh hell, Jason with a whole hour and a half by himself, we ain't gonna have a show. Because you did good. I'm proud of you. Hey,
I appreciate it, man.
Great guest.
I'm glad you didn't pull a Naomi Osaka on me and just quit.
You carried me. You know your cousin wasn't gonna let me. You know your cousin was looking at me like, "Can you give him 5 minutes?" I said, "Paula, my back hurt." Then she said, "That is Jason." I'm like, "All right, let me take some more cough medicine."
And let it be on the record, I did not force this man. He told me.
No,
to
you
say,
did. You told
and
me.
I
to take
said,
care
"No
of myself.
problem, man. I'll take care of it. Take care of yourself. I can take care of the show." I don't want people thinking I was behind the scenes telling this man, "Get your ass on this show." Got me out here like this.
Honestly, Lance, we was calling people to, hey, if you spot Lance Irvin, let us know. If he's not in bed, let us know.
Man, Lance Irvin going straight to bed right after this. It's called toughness, cuz. Anything from my cousin who I love to death, because you've been good to me.
I love you too, cuz, man. Just happy that you are doing okay. Get you some rest. Hey, everybody, tune in next week. We're going to have another great show for you because everything is starting. The Blackhawks start training camp Thursday. The Bulls start training camp next Monday. The White Sox should have clinched the division. Football is going on, college and pro.
Oh, my goodness.
I told everybody my wife is going to hate me for the month of October because everything is going. But if you're a sports fan, this is your time of the year. So stay tuned. We'll see you next week at 6 o'clock. Thank you, everybody, for watching What's Up, Cuz. Good night. Please be safe out there. Peace.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise. High as the listening skies, let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, we will march on to victory. We will march on to victory. Let us march on to victory. Is what